Getting ready to pre-drill all the holes for the vent fan. You want to make sure, even though it's symmetrical, you want to make sure when you're drilling things and mounting it that this hinge end is towards the front, because that, as the wind's blowing over the front of the trailer, if it's flipped around, it'll tear the lid off or drive rain in there. And I think I said in an earlier video, I think these little tabs here are for a big hatch cover that goes over it. May or may not put that on. I think it would actually interfere with the hatch opening. I can't remember how long they are. Kind of fugly. I might end up trimming these off, but I'm not going to do any trimming or anything until I verify that the fan works really well. And I already tested it on a battery, but you never know. Once you get it in there, we'll see. I have confidence that it's good because Brittany Brewer inspected it. So anyway, just go through and drill these real quick. Oh, I didn't mention, I have this secured in here with taped on washers to shim it so that it's exactly centered in the hole. I'll show you what I did after I pull it back out. Next little project is I'm going to rearrange the wiring hole for the fan. I put it in the wrong spot. I put it in the starboard side rear. I should have put it in the port side rear, just by reversing the order I installed them. Having it here, it's a shorter run. The fans come out, the wiring comes out of the fan right here, and I could have ran it straight through and it'd have probably 10 inches of wiring left over. Running it over here, the wires can reach from here over to here, or from here over to there, but then they're only going to stick out about an inch out through the hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-drill it somewhere in the center. And re-drilling in the center, you don't want to drill it in the exact center because you've got the hole for the fan here. You're going to have a corresponding hole for the bezel underneath in the center if you space it that way. So I'm going to drill a new hole between this fan mounting screw hole and that fan mounted screw hole somewhere in the middle here. And I'm going to use ring terminals and a little bus bar to be more secure than the typical bullet connector or flat blade connector. So that's my next little step. Got a 3/8 bit. I'm going to expand it out to 1/2 inch. I took the fan apart just so I could make sure the wires were routed where I wanted them to route. So I need to go to the back here. And like I said, originally the wires basically come off the switch and then you have to run them all the way over to the corner. Well, I want to run them in the middle. Well, if they get too close to this, these little wires here heat up when you have them in the lower fan speeds. And if the wires are touching that, they're going to melt. So I took some duct tape and taped them in. The factory uses hot glue. I didn't want to do that in case I have to return it. I don't want to have any modifications. And so anyway, the tape's going to keep that secure. It's not going to go anywhere. The white tape doesn't show. The switch, you want to pay attention if you do disconnect that, which terminal is which. I marked the terminal with the red one for the red. If you have them wrong, it'll just go backwards. And there's 8 screws that hold the inner bezel to the outer. If you wanted to paint this a different color or something, that wouldn't be too hard. Just take the switches out, pop the fan screen loose and give it a different color. Might do that. White's kind of stark when the rest of it's wood, but we'll see. See what Teresa thinks. So anyway, I'm going to have the wires come out through here, roughly through here. So the tape's going to help that, and then I'm going to crimp some little ring terminals on here. And I had my little, what did I do with it? Oh, okay, there's the hole where it comes through. The wires are going to come through there, And I'm going to mount this little terminal block here. I can still get to the wires. And maybe actually what I'll do is I'll bond it to here with epoxy. Yeah, that'll work better. I'll epoxy that right there. And that will hold. I'll probably use some JB Weld. I don't want to have to mix up the putty. And it'll be easy to get to the screws once I take the bezel off. And that'll make it real easy. So that's what I'll do. Wires will come through that hole, go right to there, and I'll have jumpers. And then if I put a light up here, I can run wires from that to wherever I put the light. And so, like between here, and here, I'm thinking of making a little box that fits up here and have the fuse block up in here. So just the gears grinding. Either that or I'll just run the wires through from the interior of the bulkhead, or the kitchen area of the bulkhead, I should say. Let me show you what I'm talking about. They come up underneath the lip here. It'll hide the wires. And I can run the wires over to here. Up under the lip, they'll be out of the way. Maybe put a box over here with the fuse panel. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But I'm definitely gonna mount this to that wall. And JB Weld's really strong, and I think that'll work. I'll just scuff up the bottom of this, take the screws out so they don't get bonded, and that should work great. Okay, I've got my soldering station set up. This is the little block. I checked the size of the screw. It's a number 6. I have small ring terminals. I'm going to solder 2 of those onto these wires here. And when I run the wires from the power, the fuse block, I'll run them to the same. I got a couple extra of those little terminals. I'll run them to the same 2. And later, if I need to, I'll make little jumpers to go between. And that's where I am. So I'll crimp them and solder them. Yeah, I think they sell one where this sits lower. I'm not going to bother changing it unless Teresa doesn't like it. These little stands here, like I said before, are for a weatherproofing cover. I was thinking maybe I could cut a little piece of wood, drill holes for those pegs fit in there, make a nameplate to fit on each side in those holes. That would be kind of cool. Have some use for that. And also thinking for sure that white's ugly as hell. I would like to paint that a complementary color, maybe something similar to the color of the wood here, or maybe I will paint it black, or who knows, we'll see, maybe silver. Anyway, that's it.